Hi everyone, I'm Devashish, and today I'll be demoing you the product ClaimGenie, which is our AI-assisted claims adjudication solution. This is the team behind ClaimGenie. We are called Team Shovel. So the problem that we are trying to solve is a twofold problem. On the patient side, whenever a patient is admitted to a hospital, it is a very stressful time for the patient as well as their family. But a significant amount of that time is spent in filing for paperwork to avail insurance. And there is a lack of transparency around the claim life cycle itself, which needs some solving. On the insurer side, the claim processing is expensive. It is currently 10 to 12% of the total operating expense. And the turnaround time of claim processing is fragmented across the industry and is not standardized at all. So how ClaimGenie works? So ClaimGenie works on top of these four entities. First is the personal health record, which is powered by NDHM, which provides us the patient data. Then there is eClaims, which is electronic claims. How we have modeled is through FHIR and IRDAI 15C document. Then there is a policy markup language, which is how we have modeled the policy. And then there is a rules engine, which is a final component, which takes in all these three entities, runs rules on top of them, and adjudicates the claim. So this is the flow that I'll be doing today. A provider will send an e-claim through an API call to the software. Once the claim is received by a software, the pre-auth check will happen, which will be done by a claims executive. Once the pre-auth is approved, the provider will send the discharge summary of the patient. The discharge summary will be then fetched through PHR, and the panel doctors and the claim executive will then do a technical assessment and a medical assessment. And once these steps pass, our claim will be approved. So let's get right to the demo. This is our software. I'll make an API call right now. This is how we have modeled claim. Once I make this API call, I will also grant for patient consent to fetch their diagnostic reports, and we'll send a WhatsApp notification as well. This is to make the whole process a bit more transparent. So I make an API call. Once I make the API call, you can see that I've received a WhatsApp notification, which basically tells me to grant consent. So I'll go to the NDHM app. I'll reload my screen. I can see that there is a consent request. Currently, our payer is national insurance, and the purpose of the request is claim processing, and the scope is diagnostic report. I'll grant the consent, enter the PIN, confirm, and the consent is granted. I'll reload my app. So as you can see, we have received the claim. The PHR consent is granted. I'll just quickly walk you through some of the details. So you can see there is payer information. There is provider information, admission detail around the patient's admission, pre-existing diseases of the patient, and member information. Member information is just some basic metadata around the patient. This is our policy, which is pretty comprehensive. As you can see, there is coverage, there is exclusion, waiting period, and payout. Go back and I'll quickly show you the policy template. This is our policy template, which is how we run our rule engine and how we model our policy, right? So now the claim is in the pre-auth stage. As you can see, our engine has run. It has ran a bunch of checks, like whether the name is correct or not, whether the policy is active or not, right? Diagnosis is included in the claim or not, and a bunch of other checks. All these checks pass. So I'll just quickly approve the pre-auth stage. Pre-auth is approved. And now I expect the provider to send me an updated claim and discharge summary. You can also see I have received another WhatsApp notification, which tells me as a patient that the pre-authorization step for my claim is done. Now I'll update the claim. And at this time, we expect the provider to send us the discharge summary. To get the discharge summary, I have again requested the patient to give us the documents by granting consent. So I'll reload my NDHM app. Now the scope has increased to diagnostic report as well as discharge summary. I'll grant consent, enter the PIN, confirm, and the consent is granted. I'll quickly refresh. And now the claim is moved to technical assessment, right? Also, let me show you that once the PHR step is granted, we have now the patient data. So this is the diagnostic report of the patient. And here is the discharge summary of the patient. Go back. This is the technical assessment. Again, we have the engine running for technical assessment, checking for room rent, sum insured, uh, pre-existing conditions. It has passed. So I'll just quickly approve the technical assessment step. Approved. Now we have moved on to medical assessment. Again, we have some engine checks here and some manual check for the panel doctors, like whether the hospitalization was needed for the treatment, whether the treatment was genuine or not, and stuff like that. Once I mark all these checks, this turns green. I can now approve the medical assessment. So I can go ahead and do that. The medical assessment is approved. I click OK. And now my claim is approved. Once my claim is approved, I get a WhatsApp notification saying that my claim is approved from this hospital for this much amount. And that wraps up our video. Thank you very much.